Now, of course, I hate to, not my style to criticize any member of the team. As Joe McGrain said not that long ago, you don't throw your other team members under the bus when they don't get the job done.
No, it's not a good move.
Like when you have a 2.18 ERA and you only get 5 wins because your team can't score for you. I hand Miss Robin the bobblehead, the coveted Joe McGrain, Dwayne Stats, Tampa Bay Devil Rays bobblehead. And, of course, the
just
little
vintage classic bobblehead.
And just to take the batteries out because they're obviously dead, and I wanted to play what was inside because there's a little button that Joe McGrain told us, Harry. And I give it to Robin. She takes it, and then she breaks Dwayne Stats' head right off the bobblehead, right there. Dwayne Stats has been beheaded on this show, Harry.
Now tell the truth.
What do you mean? I handed it to you. Who broke the head off?
Nobody broke the head off. The glue just came undone.
How come the glue didn't come undone when I was holding it and turning it upside down?
I actually saw her stomping on the head when I looked back there, and she said, she didn't care about the bobblehead.
Bent spring, not Rumspringa, as you know, Robin.
Oh, if I were ever going to borrow something from the Amish, it would be Rumspringa.
Rumspringa.
Do you know what
not Jerry
Rumspringa is?
Springer.
No idea what you're talking about.
Rumspringa in the Amish is when an Amish youngster is given the freedom to do whatever the heck they want to do and try it out before committing as an adult to the Amish religion.
That's what I do when I go down to San Antonio and get loose on the Riverwalk down there.
It's like a hall pass.
Yes,
and then I go out
it
there.
is exactly like it is a total hall pass.
And then I
so
go
the
over,
Amish invented the hall pass.
And then I go over to the Alamo Dome and go see if the Pee-wee's bike's in the basement of the Alamo Dome. And then every once in a while, I'll rarely run into this man, Bill Schoening, the voice of your San Antonio Spurs, who almost pulled one out last night against the 76ers, who can't close out games. Bill Schoening, you can find him and he's not even following me on Twitter. How many years have we known each other, Bill?
I'm not a big Twitter guy, Tony. I've known you forever.
It's an outrage, man. You can at least follow me.
Yeah, but I don't follow anybody, so please don't feel slighted.
Okay, Gary Radnich he's following 0 people as well.
It's a boss move.
I know it is. I got to give you credit for that, Bill. First of all, how you doing, man? Now, I know normally this time of the year when the NBA is in the off season, you usually get back and hang out at the Jersey Shore with guys like Rothstein and company, right?
I am a Jersey Shore kind of guy, no question about it. Grew up in Philly, spent a lot of time in Wildwood. During my high school years, though, Tony, I was a little ahead of the curve. I used to get down to Asbury Park and go see Southside John and the Asbury Jukes and Bruce Springsteen and those guys. So that was pretty cool back then in the 70s.
Yeah, now how long have you been the voice of the Spurs? I mean, it's been forever, man.
I'm in my 19th season.
Wow, that is awesome. So you've seen the unbelievable runs with Greg Popovich and some of the legendary players. And now when you look at this team, and obviously I was talking with Ryan earlier about how great they drafted and how they continue to draft well. And once they went through the different eras, and once
David Robinson, Tim Duncan.
Yeah, and I'm talking about the other guys, the Manu Ginobili's, and the Park, the Tony Parkers and all those guys. Now they're long gone, and they're trying to keep it going, man. They gave the Sixers all they wanted last night.
Well, right now they're real short-handed. They're missing 4 rotation players because of injury. But Greg Popovich said right at the beginning of this entire deal, these 8 games in Orlando, it was all going to be about development and getting experience with some of these young guys. And, they realize they're not a championship contender anymore, at least right now. But they do have an opportunity with this young nucleus to really develop these guys, get them some valuable playing time at Orlando, and then move forward. Get another draft pick or two and try to work their way up because this Western Conference is real. I mean, there's a lot of good teams that always have been. And of course, the Spurs have this amazing streak, Tony. 22 consecutive years they've made the playoffs. That, of course, is in serious jeopardy this year, although they still could make it. They're right there. They're only 2 games behind Memphis and only a half game behind Portland for the 9th spot, which, as you know, to qualify you for a play-in series with the 8th-place team. So they haven't given up hope on making the playoffs. But 22 straight years is pretty amazing, and I've been there for 19 of them. So it's been a great run.
Yeah, absolutely, and you're right about that. And last night, I mean, they almost pulled it out. I mean, if they don't get that, if he's not open.
Yeah. Spurs should have won that game.
It's not about should have won.
Milton.
Yeah, Shake Milton, the much maligned guy who had a terrible game in his first game last weekend where they gave up a big lead in the fourth quarter. They almost blew the lead again, and Milton doesn't nail that 3 with 6 seconds left. You're talking about the Spurs being 1 game behind the 8th seed with a victory last night.
Yep. So we've got 5 games left, so we're just going to see what happens. But they're playing with house money right now, Tony, because nobody really expects them to make the playoffs. And I think Pop has kind of adopted that attitude where, like, it's about development, but let's go out and have some fun. He compared it to a summer league atmosphere, like an old AAU tournament, because all the guys bump into each other. And, of course, the broadcasters, as you know, Tony, are not there.
Right.
We are broadcasting remotely, the local guys anyway, from our respective arenas or studios. We're doing it from the studio, or from the arena, rather, which is really cool because the TV guys are to my left, and I'm in the middle. I got this big, huge HD TV. I got my stat monitor, got my lineup. So I'm acting like I'm there, but I'm really not.
Harry Mays is not here, but he looks like he's in front of a golf course. He's got his. He's doing it remotely from up in the suburbs of Philadelphia, in King of Prussia area, Conshohocken, and he joins us now on Zoom as well. Now, you didn't do a Zoom. Now, do you have Zoom down there in San Antonio yet?
Yeah, we have Zoom. I just being a radio guy, I didn't want to have to get myself all pretty and put my makeup on for this deal. So, me, I'm a radio guy. So
I am too. Trust me, if you see what I look like, I don't shave, I don't do anything. I look like a hobo, and I'm in my own basement, and I'm just saying, screw it. I've been sequestered down here at social distancing for 2 years down here, long before. I was way ahead of the curve before we even had to flatten the curve, Bill.
There's a difference between antisocial and social distancing, Tony. I hope you realize that.
So now you got the great mustache going, though, right, Bill?
Oh yeah, absolutely. That will never die. I grew this mustache when I was at West Catholic High School in Philadelphia back in the early '70s, so it won't come off.
Beautiful.
Well, Bill, I gotta congratulate you on that mustache. It's fantastic. I just followed you on Twitter, and the great pictures on there. But I got to ask you, how is my Berks County guy, Lonnie Walker, adjusting to NBA life with Popovich and the Spurs?
Lonnie Walker, obviously, is still a very young guy, but, man, he's so athletic. I love his attitude. He's a really good kid, very bright, reads a lot of books. I'm fascinated by him in some ways. But he's still feeling his way. He's only averaging about 5 points per game, but he's one of these young guys I was just talking about, getting development right now and getting a chance to work into the rotation, and had a really good year, I guess it was 2 years ago, with the Austin Spurs to the G League. So, he's still trying to, feel his legs and get to the point where he's comfortable, but getting comfortable in the league. But he's really a good player. I think he's going to be really good. He's going to develop that outside shot. He's very athletic, and again, he's one of these typical guys that the Spurs draft because they see the potential in him because he's a good person as well as being a good player.
Bill Schoening, the voice of the Spurs, San Antonio action. And now, of course, Zion got to play 25 minutes last night, and we all jokingly said this, but I know the NBA wants this, and everybody wants it. They want to see Zion get that 8 spot down there. But that battle's going to be pretty tough because they put themselves in a hole the first couple of games where they limited them to minutes. The second game, they were blown out in the fourth quarter. No sense in putting him in there. But last night, 25 minutes. Do you think the Pelicans can still pull this out and get that 8 spot?
Yeah, you know what? It's a real dogfight right now, but especially between Portland and the Spurs and New Orleans. And those teams that play each other, there's a lot of familiarity there between these teams. We know each other pretty well. Zion is certainly an X factor. I got to see his debut in the NBA when he hit those 4 threes in the fourth quarter. There in New Orleans, Spurs pulled that game out. But he's a special player. There's no question about that. I'm anxious to see how he develops in the league. I hope he stays healthy, though, Tony, because there's always that concern about a guy that size, carry, and he's been able to carry that weight, his whole career. But as he gets older, I'm just hoping that he is able to stay healthy during all this time.
Bill Schoening, Harry Mays, Ryan Rothstein, our NBA honk here. He doesn't have his any LeBron gear on today, though. I'm really disappointed in him.
Yeah, I went neutral today for you, Tom.
He went neutral. He went with the basic blacks, the all blacks.
Just stayed basic for you.
Good.
Exactly.
I sent Ryan a song earlier, Tony. In the off-season, I usually work on my music. I write songs on the side, and I wrote one about Smokin' Joe Frazier, one of your favorites.
Oh, yes.
And it's still a work in progress. We have to add some horns, but I went all 70s funk with that particular tune.
Oh,
so,
you know me with the funk, man. You got to bring the funk. The
Yeah,
funk
gotta
will never
bring
die.
We might take Bill out on that. Joe C. has a clip of the song, so we'll play it here in a few minutes.
Do we have a clip now?
Yeah, I just sent it a couple
Now,
minutes
do
ago
you do the
to his
vocals,
email.
Bill? Or you? Because I know you're a talented musician, and I know you're a writer.
Yeah, I write the lyrics and I do the vocals. I wrote the melody as well. I got some help from a lot of different guys on this song, but it's a real basic, rough track. It's not completely finished yet, so we're going to go back in the studio once the seeding games are over, if we don't make the playoffs, and work on it a little bit more.
Can we get Coach Pop involved with you on that
Exactly,
song?
man.
Yeah, I think Coach Pop likes to bring the funk, but I don't know that he'll want to participate in this particular project.
It's Parliament Funkadelic. I don't know how many of those guys are still alive, but you got to get the funk because we love
George
the funk.
Clinton.
George Clinton, exactly right.
You know, I live in Austin, Tony, which is the live music capital of the world.
Yep.
And, of course, during the last 4 months, it hasn't been, unfortunately. But I'm longing for the day we can go back into the clubs and listen to some live music.
All right, I have the song queued up if we want to hear it.
Let's hear it, Tate. Ladies and gentlemen, you thought you were just getting NBA chatter here.
Nope.
You're getting Joe Smoke. And by the way, when Smoke and Joe Frazier was such a good friend that when he passed, I was the first guy to say we should build a Joe, because we had the Rocky statue and all these other fictitious characters.
Absolutely.
I said Joe Frazier deserves a statue in Philadelphia, and an artist was listening, and the artist decided he was going to do it. I helped him put together a fund, raising the funds, and he sculpted the statue, and Joe Frazier justifiably and deservedly has a statue here in the city of Philadelphia, man.
Wow.
I would have been the first one to sign that petition with you, Tony.
We got it done, man. And now you got a song, and it goes a little something like. Now this is the rough cut, right? This is
Rough
not
cut, yeah.
Now you're going to do a little wall of sound in there. You're going to.
Yeah,
let's hear it.
we're going to throw some horns in, this little extra bass. Maybe
Wow.
a little bit of backup vocals. Yeah.
Oh wait, let me get my sticks out.
Tony's getting the sticks out, Bill. So he's jamming over here, man. When he gets the drumsticks out.
Oh, I like this.
Crank it up, Josie. Sing it, Joe.
Walking down these streets, feeling good today.
Yeah.
Finding his own beat, now he's on his way. As he starts to wander all around this town, he feels the Philly rhythm, all that's going down.
Tony's rocking out.
Oh, he's killing it on the drums. Philly rhythm there, Bill. I like that.
From Smoking Joe, left hook she is throwing, climbing up the ranks to the title he is going.
There you go.
Nice.
Beautiful.
Man, it's got a good beat. You can dance to it. I'll give it a 75.
Thank you, Dick Clark.
Is that a clavichord there? Is that what I'm hearing?
Man, real good, Brian. Yeah,
No, that's
clavichord.
Joe.
No,
That's
don't
Joe.
do me.
That's Joe
No.
C, a professional studio musician.
That's not me, Bill. That's
sorry,
Joe
okay.
C.
What's the instrument?
Okay, sorry.
A clavichord? It's like what you hear on Superstition by
By Stevie Wonder.
Yeah.
Clavichord. I thought that's what I heard last week when I fell. That was another one, yeah.
It's funny. I sent that rough cut to a guy named Fletch Wiley, who's a 3-time Grammy winner who plays trumpet. And I said, hey, man, I don't really have much cash to pay you, but would you mind adding a little trumpet? He says, I just want a burrito. So he's going to add the trumpet part and a horn part and write the horn part out, and I got to get him a burrito. That's all it's going to cost me.
From Austin, it's got to be an Austin or a Texas burrito, right?
Austin guy, yeah. In fact, he used to play, do all the arrangements and play horns for a guy named Andre Crouch, who was a gospel guy, passed away years ago. But yeah, Fletch Wiley, 3-time Grammy winner, is going to be on that song playing trumpet. And but man, I got to get him a burrito.
Yeah. Clavinova is the actual name of it, right?
That's clavichord.
Clavichord? I thought it was
That's what we call it.
clavichord, clavinova, clavinove.
No, Clavinova is the backup defenseman for the Flyers.
Oh,
Johan
that's right.
Clavinova from the Czech Republic.
Now, come on, Harry. That's good stuff right there.
That's phenomenal.
Bill Schoening. So when are you going to go into the studio and finish this, man? Because you can leave the bubble. I mean, the Spurs have to stay there even if they're eliminated, right? Because they have to stay 2 weeks after. They can't just leave on the last day and go home, right?
I don't know the rule about all that, but we still have a little ways to go with this whole thing. All I know is that, as you pointed out, I'm not there, so I don't have to worry about that too much. But yeah, we'll go back in the studio and finish this because I got the horn part coming up, and it'll be, all of my songs, Tony, are million sellers. I got 1 million in my cellar.
Oh, man.
Hey, this will be the next one.
Beautiful, man. All right,
I got to ask Bill
go
something
ahead.
about Popovich here because when we see him dealing with the media, usually in between quarters or something, on the TV broadcast or after the games, he's very curt to whoever's interviewing. What's he like to the local guys?
With me, he's always great because I don't ask him for very much. We get along great. My best conversations with Pop are about, restaurants and wine and history and all these other worldly stuff, all worldly things. He really doesn't like to talk about pick and roll defense very much. He finds it kind of boring. So the best way to engage Coach Popovich is to bring up something that interests him. Not that basketball doesn't interest him, but he'd rather talk about some other things.
Now,
well, based on watching the Sixers, I don't think he ever discussed pick and roll defense with Brett Brown either.
Oh, yes,
wow.
Harry.
And now, look, Brett's a good buddy of mine. I worked with Brett for 11 years. He was in our organization. Think about this, guys. All the coaches around the NBA now that learned under Pop. There's a lot of head coaches. I think there's 8 or 9 head coaches now in the NBA that were either an assistant or worked in the organization. Monty Williams in Phoenix, Brett Brown in Philly, Mike Budenholzer in Milwaukee, James Borrego, in Charlotte. I mean, the list goes on and on.
Yeah, it is amazing, the tree. We always talk about NFL trees, but the Pop tree is unbelievable there. And you mentioned Brett Brown, and obviously Brett and Pop love the Australian guys. I mean, Patty Mills is still out there throwing the threes. Anybody at St. Mary's that we should know about that they haven't drafted that's from Australia? Because that seems to be like where all the Australian guys, when they play in this country, they all play at St. Mary's, it seems.
There is an Aussie connection. There's no question about that. Matthew Dellavedova is another guy that played at St. Mary's. That West Coast Conference, some of those schools are pretty good. Gonzaga, obviously, is in that league. You mentioned St. Mary's. Usually there's a good guy or two come out of that league each year. Brandon Clark is a rookie from Gonzaga that's playing for Memphis. I think he's got a bright future.
Bill Schoening. Now, you got something going on? You got somebody cutting the hedges behind you there, Bill, down in Austin?
No, we're good. We're good. I'm just finishing up my book. During the pandemic, I decided to write my story, basically, go all the way back to growing up in a row home in Southwest Philly. So I'm pitching that to a couple of publishers here in the next couple of weeks.
You got all music. You're writing books.
Man, he's doing it all.
You're taking advantage.
He's a renaissance man.
He really is, man. That's what happens when you live in Austin,
Yeah, I'm learning about fine wine from Sean Elliott and Greg Popovich, so, it's good.
Hey, maybe Bill will write a jingle for the show.
I don't think he's a jingle guy. He's more of a...
Yeah, he's like a
show open kind of, like something
He's got to pay for all these artists and stuff. When you do what he does, you sit down, you write the song, and then you put the band back together again, right?
Yeah, but Bill, we'll give you 3 future cheesesteaks, Whiz Wit, and a burrito for a jingle.
No, I got to have the provolone. None of this whiz stuff.
Exactly right.
See,
that's the problem. That's the problem
go.
with these South Jersey young guys. They don't get it.
Yeah.
You do not get whiz on a cheesesteak.
I'm just doing the Philly cliche.
That is absolutely.
It's not even real cheese.
Listen, I'll take the South Jersey cheesesteaks over the Philly cheesesteaks.
You're absolutely wrong about that, man.
Come on now. Yeah, I guess the soft pretzels in Jersey are better, too.
Yeah, so Bill Schoening's open when he opens the broadcast on the Spurs Radio Network is West Philadelphia, born and raised. I think he has Will Smith singing it for him, right?
That's another guy from Overbrook, Will Smith. That's him. Yep.
Exactly right. Hey, Bill, always great to catch up with you, man. Appreciate the time, and I know we didn't get to see you this summer. So when the season's over, you're going to come back to the East Coast and go to the Jersey Shore?
I got to get my Jersey Shore fixed in, So as you opened up the broadcast one time when you brought me on as a guest, you said I'm the only guy who lives in Texas and vacations in North Wildwood.
Exactly right. I think our mayor does. That's why he's never around anymore. I think Jim Kenny goes down to North Wildwood every weekend and it's like balls deep in vodka or gin or something. But that's a different story.
If you ever want to come down and listen to some live music in Austin, once we get live music kicking again, you're more than welcome to come down and hang with us.
I've been to Austin. I haven't been there in a while, but I'd love to, man. I love traveling. I need to get the hell out of the house. I'm getting stir crazy down here, man. Look at Harry. Harry's chilling. He's drinking vodka. We had Joe McGrain on drinking a 16-inch tall boy Budweiser Beechwood aged from his place, and I'm sitting here parched in my basement. It's an outrage.
Yeah, but the show will be over soon, Tony. The show will be over soon, and you can go partake.
That's a you problem.
It is a me problem. I'm not blaming anybody else for my problems. My problems are all self-absorbed. Hey, Bill, it's great to talk to you, man. It's fun watching, and once again, to be a part of something that is an unbelievable era in the NBA and the history of the NBA.
What a run.
To be a part of that San Antonio Spurs dynasty for 19 years is incredible, man. Appreciate the time, man. Hopefully we'll talk to you. See you soon.